Hello, 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 hello. Back again. I know that this is an impromptu one. Let me sort of correct that a little bit. Yes, my lighting isn't sort of terrific behind me, but who cares? So, yes, I wanted to start a sketching live stream as well. So, this is it. This is going to be it. This is the first one with a kind of a nominal sort of title called Sketchola. Kind of mimics my my other brand, Scooterola, which is my thing, or my interest in vintage Italian scooters. So yeah, so here I am. So this is going to be a sketching live stream. I'm also not sure when it's going to be. I haven't sort of settled on. I have to sort of see if I can do it first, and also to you know, get the setup working properly, and then I'll settle on a kind of a time, try and make it regular. I've got my Thursday evening one, the live stream, painting still live, which is kind of more about sort of it's painting really, but sketchbooks are important too. In fact, I think they're extremely important, and they're very, very enjoyable. So basically, it's an opportunity to hang out with you lot, and you know, get chatting to you if you send me messages and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to start drawing in a page on my sketchbook. So let me just see what. So there is my sketchbook, and I mean normally I make faces up, you know, when I'm drawing them, but I've also got this book here. So let me see if I go back to teacher again. Yeah, I've got this book which I got many years ago and I've never used it. So a visual reference for artists by Mark Simon. So yeah, so it's got, if I can point it through to you, it's got, hang on, let's have a look. There, that's right. So it's got just pages and pages and pages of faces, people making faces, and such like, from going from I don't know, about 20 years old up to something quite old, 80 or something. Yeah, so you get a kind of a gamut, a wide gamut of faces. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to base one of my pictures on. Let me have a look. I'll go back to sketchbook. So I've got to find the one that I want to use. There was that African looking fella. Where is he? He's quite young. Where did you go? They used this picture. Oh, that's another guy, isn't it? He's not bad. He's actually making better faces than the other chap. Hang on, let me go. Where is he? He looks to me to be about 25 or so. We're down to 32. Where is he? Is that him? No, that's not him. I don't know how helpful this is going to be, but can't remember which one I wanted to use either. Yeah. Yeah. I think I'll use that fella there. I'll prop him up ahead of me and start drawing. Where's my pencil? There's my pencil. Okay, and if you are there, please do comment, because it'd be nice nice to see what you're thinking. I'll use that Faber-Castell pen, and I'll use that one as well. So let's. These things are never sort of that simple, are they? Once again, like in my painting live stream, I've got a big camera in front of my face. So let's put him about this size. Yeah, and I think I'm going to use this as the part of my great Irish haircuts. Oh, I need to bring him down a bit lower then. Yeah. But I've got to make sure that I've got room for his hair. There's an eye there. Okay. And as usual, the reference is really only material. It's not. I don't want to sort of recreate the photograph. There's a neck there. And this is the kind of thing that I would be doing in cafes. There. I want to give him a kind of a topiary haircut. Yeah, that'll do. So yeah, he's got a little bit of a moustache. He's got an incredulous look on his face. And in fact, there's a singer who's very popular in France at the moment called Stromae. He's half Belgian and half Rwandan. Very good musician. Should give him a listen if you get the chance. Stromae. And there's a picture of him there, and he's got kind of his hair all done up like that. I'm not even sure if it's his hair or he's got a hat on. Yeah. There, like that. I don't want to sort of be too dependent on the reference either. I want to make sure it looks a little bit sort of odd. Let me move that camera around so you can see me a bit better. There. So do get in touch. Do say something. Send a message. His hair would be casting a shadow, so. I mean, really, it's kind of a caricature that I'm after. That's his hair, so we're kind of looking down on him. I think I might give him a third one on the top, smaller. Well, why not smarten him up a little bit? Give him a tux. A white tux. As if he's just been presented with the bill. Give him a bit more on his head there. Start to build up the tones. That's quite dark down there. He isn't dark skinned. After all. Yeah, okay, and then a little bit more shadow there. Darken that around there. I think you can give him a bit more of a beard. I like those beards. And that can go up there like that. That'd be all very dark there. And that will still be dark. And then maybe that will be showing a shadow over his jacket. And frilly shirt. Bring that around. Okay. And then bring that around to there. I love taking my sketchbook into cafes, and when I was away on holiday there, just up until last week, I did a lot of sketching when I could grab a chance to get a coffee just before lunch, and would make the coffee last quite a long time. I'm sure they thought I was a bit of a cheapskate sitting there with my coffee for an hour and a half or something. Well, I enjoy it. I don't know whether they do though. There. More shadow on his nose. Come across there on his eyelid, there, and that will be darker there too. Maybe I'll extend that out a little bit, and that will be very much darker. And so will that. Looks like a great big wheel of cheese. Sort of make sure that it's a little bit more obvious that it's hair and not just a hat that he's got on. Yeah, that can go down. Let's have a look. Let's darken this shadow. Around there. All of that can go darker. Give him cheeks like, what's it? Cheeks like elbows, as somebody said one to me. That can go down there like that. Give him a bit more shadow around his nose. If you're there, just write something. Tell me where you're viewing from. Be very interesting. You can put in a bit more sort of darkness in his cheeks there, on that side of the face. Good thing about this is you don't have to be involved in skin colour. It's just tone. That can all be Now back up to here. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Now I need some darks. I think, let's have a look. All right, some darks. Do you know what? I'm not going to look at my reference anymore. That's starting to take over, and I don't want that. So, definitely a big dark. Get out of there, you. There. That would be very dark. That too. Very dark there. The light seems to be coming from the right hand side, so maybe in front of us a little bit. That will be casting a shadow onto itself and below it. We'll join those up. Now back to my fine liner. Fill that in a bit more, especially around that side. Yeah, colour always complicates things in art, and it's not as important as you think it is when you first get into all this stuff. Oh, Ivor! I'm doing an impromptu one because I'm testing out a setup for drawing instead. So in this case, I'm drawing on the flat instead of something that's in front of me, or painting that's in front of me, and you know, just peculiarly for sketching, or you know, aimed at sketching rather than anything else. So it could be pencils, could be inks, you know. And it really is partly an effort to get me filling up my sketchbook again, because I'd kind of gone off the idea of sketching a lot. I used to sketch a lot in the cafes, and either it's intended to be a regular thing, although I haven't hit on a day when I can actually do it. Obviously, it can't be Thursday because I do my painting one on a Thursday evening. So I'm going to have to pick a time when I'm you know, when I've got a bit of free time. So you have to leave that with me, and I'll let you know though. However I do that will be a good question. Yes, okay. So let's. I think a pair of glasses would actually be really good on him. Make it those horn-rimmed ones. And then they'll be casting a shadow, won't they? Let's see. What the fine liner I'm using is this is a 01. I think that means it's a millimetre. Well, it actually seems less than a millimetre to me. It surely can't be a 0.1, can it? Is there something that would be that small? I'll give him a little moustache. Little 1940s moustache. Be all darker. Strangely, at the moment, he reminds me of an actor. What's that actor's name? Maybe I'll make his hair come up to meet that one a little bit more. And I've already think of my name. I've called this Sketchola, just for want of anything else to call it. It kind of needs to have the word sketch in it, doesn't it? Just do a bit more with his bow tie. He's supposed to look like a cool dude, you see. Bit of a James Bond. With his tuxedo. Maybe a James Bond villain, I don't know. I always feel a bit let down by the James Bond franchise. It kind of promises a lot and doesn't deliver. I kind of ended up preferring the Jason Bourne films. They seemed a little bit more authentic in a way. James Bonds could become a bit of a comedy even, especially under Roger Moore. I like Roger Moore, but do I drive a scooter? I do. Did you see me on the scooter or something, did you? I have a Vespa, and I also have a big scooter for going long distances, a Honda, one of those sort of big, powerful ones, I suppose. It's not that powerful, but it is for a scooter, I suppose. But my particular interest is in the aeronautical styling of the Italian types of scooters. Yeah, and I'd probably keep mentioning it as well, for want of anything better to say. What about you? Let's say if his lapel is coming down there like that, maybe. Let's put a bit of a kind of like framing things sometimes. Tell you what, I'm going to put a nice sort of dark frame up there around his suit. The thing about this stuff is you're not sort of limited to what you know, if you're doing a landscape, well, essentially you have to do anything, but you know, you sort of try and sort of make it look like a landscape. With this, you can let your imagination run a little bit. Now, hence the haircut, and because I think in art that to be art, really art, you need to be engaging your imagination and not just being able to copy stuff. You need to apply yourself into it more, and your personality and your individual thoughts and what you think about things, and not just how you can represent them accurately. That'll do for that anyway. What are you up to today, Ivor? Were you working? Maybe that shouldn't be dark. Especially bow tie. Yeah. You're in work. Oh God, I hope I'm not going to get you into trouble. Daytime classes. I mean, my actual daytime classes are starting next week, but they've actually sort of they filled up really quickly. So. And that was with adding in a couple of extra spaces, because there seemed to be a bigger demand. Yeah. Yeah. What will I call this guy? I call him. Ooh, be careful of my solvent from last night there. Okay, Looks like topiary, doesn't it? Like a topiary hedge. Hmm. Bring that down a wee bit. So I'm going to have to sort of join that up there again. Okay. Ivor, don't be thinking like that. It doesn't have to be brushes, by the way. You could draw like this kind of thing. I mean, this is equally valid. I know people want to paint. Yeah, I get that. But don't let it stop you. Every painting and drawing that I do of my own, I'm dissatisfied with, and I think it's not good enough. So it never, that kind of stuff never really goes away, I don't think, anyway. Certainly not for me. Maybe I'll push that out a wee bit more even. Do you know what? Pastels. I feel the way about pastels, possibly the way you do about paints and brushes. I've never managed to make a successful picture out of them. And I really should be sort of attempting as much as I can. And I don't. I don't even actually own any pastels. I gave them to my daughters. So I can hardly take them back. It'd be like an Indian present, wouldn't it? Yeah. I do like making things dark. I think when I paint, I tend naturally towards a kind of a, what's it called? Like a film noir sort of type effect. I like that darkness. I suppose that it's kind of the way Caravaggio would have painted. I'm not for one moment sort of suggesting that I paint as well as Caravaggio, but I love that the drama that's in those very dark shadows. There. Get yourself a sketchbook. I'll show you. This is the way I think of it, right? You're unlikely ever to write a book, are you? I mean, it's unlikely. I haven't written a book. You know, there's part of me that thinks that I should have done, but I don't know what to write about, and where I don't really know enough to write a book. But with this, I have written a book. So don't buy those ring-bound sketchbooks. They are very useful in certain circumstances. You can open them up flat all the time and everything, but that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is this is a case-bound book. So I have written a book. You can't see up behind that painting there, but there's loads of these. But get a good one. Get one that actually does look like a book that should be in a bookcase. Okay, it's case bound. This one is by, you can't see it there. Can you see it there? That's Daler Roney. Good quality paper in it. There's ones in Rathmines in the art shop there by, what are they called? Sea White of Brighton. They're nice. There's Hannah Muller sketchbooks in Kennedy's and in Evans's in town. And when you fill it up, you'll have basically written a book. I mean, I'll just go through. I'll just come. And it's not a book of prose, is it? It's just a jumbled thoughts. It's fine. And it's a leave behind, isn't it? When you finally pop your clogs, there'll be at least that. If you just take a whole load of photographs which go up on Google Photos, it could be gone in an instant, couldn't it? What was I doing? Oh, sketchbook here. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I know that you've seen this, Ivor, but other people may not have. Okay, so here I was sitting in a town in England, Birmingham, in fact, it was last year, and I just drew a few of the people that were around me. And then I started thinking about my childhood and the people that were in my childhood. And there was this chap here who was a very lugubrious looking gentleman. He was a friend of the family, and I just tried to draw him from my memory. And you know, it's like a good drawing of a person, but I'm sure if the guy was standing right in front of me, I wouldn't recognise him at all. You know, likewise this fellow, who I remember, he did a standing somersault in our front hall. And he was no spring chicken at the time either, but he was a friend of my dad's, another teacher. And I just wrote down what I could remember of it. And, you know, he wasn't smoking at the time. There was no fag sort of fags coming out of his pocket as he did the somersault. As far as I actually remember, he was in his shirt sleeves. But I mean, I just drew him in a kind of a teachery suit. And I was amazed at the time, you know, the place where I grew up. From memory, it doesn't actually look like that, you know. No, I do remember walking along with a gas mask on during a protest that my mother took me to, and all the children they'd given World War II gas masks to. This would have been the 1960s, I suppose. But I just drew what I could remember of it, and you know, wrote down. My mother actually stood for Parliament in I think 1970 or 1972 by-elections, you know, and got absolutely trashed by. I don't know. She got about 1,000 votes out of 30,000 or something like that. But I mean, she did it. Bloody hell, I've never done anything like that. Yeah, it's like a diary, but it's not a diary. And a diary, if you write a diary and you're not honest in it, you've betrayed yourself in a way. I'm getting very deep here, isn't it? You know, and also the kind of thing that you don't really want to show anyone. Here, you don't have to have that level of you know, bearing your soul. You're just drawing things, you know, whatever comes to mind. You know, I mean, shopping lists go into this sometimes because it's a handy bit of paper, or some important things that I've got to remember. You know, they all get written down in here because I know that it's always going to be there. You know, I endeavour to make sure it kind of survives. So, in that respect, it's kind of easier to do. Maybe there are people who really sort of you know, spill out their innermost sort of thoughts and everything, but I wouldn't feel happy about showing people really what's going on in my head, because people might find it too pretty. And anyway, they can find out for themselves, can't they? So you know, my grandmother there sitting in a chair, you know, so memory is this woman that used to sit sort of on the roadside near where I lived in London for a while, and we used to see her sort of almost every day. Never knew who she was. And she was an unfortunate kind of woman, because she spent all day sitting on the embankment by the road. You know, I just came into my head one day that Julius Caesar apparently crossed the Thames near where I grew up, and you know, so put that in. My dad working away at home. My arrival in Ireland, sort of in my Fiat 128. Me getting the cigarettes from my mother. And then, yeah, another scene from my childhood. A stupid drawing of a bloke that doesn't exist. You know, there you go. Silly things. The doctor I had when I was a kid. Stupid haircuts. I mean, that's what I've been going off on a little tangent lately about stupid haircuts. That's nothing to do with it. That's for an art project I did, a public art project. That's more of the same. And that's what it kind of ended up as. Yes, I don't even know what that is. What is it? Sometimes I do write things. Yeah. I actually don't know what that's about. Sometimes I'll write something so profound that I can't remember what it is when I go to read it again. You know, testing out sort of different art styles. That's what the sketchbook is for. It's one of my daughter's drawings. I love all that stuff. You know, the series of silly haircuts. Why not? There you go. So that's today's sketch doings, and let me just go back again. So there you go. Do let me know how that was for you. Tell me what the quality was like. Was it in focus? I mean, that's another thing. So you know, it'd be a shame to sort of draw things and you can't really see them properly or hear me. So do let me know what you think and whether it's worth continuing. Because I think the sketching stuff is kind of different from the painting stuff. The sketching stuff is more immediate, easier to do. I think in a way it's more accessible, and you don't have to go through a great big sort of you know, learning of the process thing at the beginning of it, you know, which is what you have to hammer home. You know, a repository of ideas. That's brilliant. Okay, I'm going to write that one down in my repository of ideas. Yeah, that's a great one. Listen, Ivor, I suppose you better look as if you're working now, hadn't you? So, and so should I. Have a great week. I might see you next Thursday. I might see you beforehand, and I'll try and figure out sort of what way this sketching live stream will go. Listen, enjoy yourselves. Get yourself a good sketchbook. Any of those brands I mentioned. In fact, there's a De Laroni one, and for some reason I didn't check it. This one, it's actually got kind of embossed kind of gold lettering there, and I think they're actually better than these ones. This one's a slightly cheaper one, but I mean, it's very good. But I do, and the next one I go for will probably be the one with the gold lettering, the De Laroni one. So, and that's what, A5, you know. All right, listen. Yeah, have a good weekend, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye.